Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. That, of course, is Scott Bogman. It's time to place your bets. We're here. It's Thursday Night Football, and we got a good one. Two of Bogman's favorite teams in the history of the universe. We've got, let's see, the Bengals and the Ravens. You're big fans of both of those, yes?
Yeah, I'm definitely not hoping for a meteor to hit the stadium, so that's good. Yeah, look, this is a tough AFC North battle, and I've heard a couple people call it the best Thursday night football game of the year. Hard to disagree with that. Baltimore's a tough place to play at night too, so it should be a fun game, but I just want the refs to not be involved, man. The refs are involved in these Thursdays. I know it's Thursday, so guys make more mistakes, but come on. Let's let the little things go and let these guys play some football, please.
That's right. Let them play some football. And by the way, we've also got a pretty good streak that we're going on because Monday night, Bogman was on the Broncos side of the points. I was on the Broncos money line and Cortland Sutton to score a touchdown. I put those two things together. It was a very nice day. Scott Bogman was also 4 for 5, by the way, as well. Good stuff on that. I apologize if I can't see the chat in today's stream here.
Oh, so I was wondering. I thought that was just me because it happens to me sometimes.
I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it was a setup thing or whatever it is, but I'll try to pull some of your comments up through here. So I'm watching on YouTube. I'm watching me, watching you. So I can't bring up the comments, but I can talk about them. So I see you, Gregory. I see Kendall. I see Will. I see all y'all. So we're going to talk about this game tonight. And it's a good one, too. Thank God we don't have to watch the Jets or Giants in a freaking primetime game again because I'm going to lose my mind if we have to do that. Enough already. Enough. The primetime games this year have not been great for the most part. But this week, we got a great one on Thursday, a great one on Monday night, interesting one on Sunday night.
Dude, Sunday is pretty good. The Broncos have been playing some good football recently. So could be a good
one.
You
have it. By the way, speaking of good things, I just saw something really funny, and I have to share it with you before we get into the picks of the show today. Somebody did a thing, and it's funny.
Okay.
I'm going to show it to you here on the screen. Somebody took Brian Daboll's face, which obviously is bald like me with a beard, and then spun it around. Have you seen this?
No.
So they took
I don't like it.
Just took his face and they spun it around, and really, it's not a bad look. Can you see? Like, it's I mean, like, you believe that guy's just still a head football coach in the NFL either way, right?
I think he has the mumps, but yeah, I mean, something's wrong with him there, but yeah.
I think he has the mumps. I want to hear from you guys in the chat. What do you think about Brian Daboll's new look there? Certainly interesting one. I think one is more offensive coordinator, one is head coach.
He looks like the chubby mouse from Cinderella. So
he does look like the chubby mouse. Gus, I believe. I have
Is that right? Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I have 2 daughters. So I mean,
granular. Yeah. I had
granular.
No idea,
that's why we're here. That's why we're here for the people. So we're also here to give free stuff away because we like giving away free stuff. So don't forget, this is what we're giving away right now. If you want a chance to win a free premium 1-year subscription to Betting Pros, your place to start betting smarter, not harder, you need to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video, and that's it. We'll be announcing the winner right here on the channel, so make sure you turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes drop, and if you are the winner, so you can claim your prize. All right, everybody, here's the game. By the way, some funny stuff in the chat here. Gregory says he looks like he swallowed a mini watermelon for Brian Dable on that one. That's a pretty good one there, but it's kind of a scary look. It's a scary look. All right, so here we go.
Looks like he had that gum that Veruca or Violet had or whatever.
He looks a lot like her dad, actually.
Oh, wow, he actually does. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I was going to say, it looked like when she bit into the gum and started
a
little bit.
How much for the Betting Pros, Wonka? Come on. Pass it over. Come on. I'll pay anything.
How much is it, Wonka? Come on. Come on.
All right, let's talk about the game here. Cincinnati Bengals in such a spot, Boggs. I love when Joe Burrow has a down game, loses a game at home, because then everybody, puts him in the underdog spot, and that's just the worst thing to do. It's just the worst. Baltimore 3.5-point favorites. The best number you can get is over on DK at -110. Plus 3.5 over on Cincinnati's side, -105 at Bet365. That's the best place you can get that one over on Betting Pros app, which you should download right now if you haven't already. Best tools on the planet. Seriously, I mean, it's no joke, man. It's so helpful. The projections are so good. Finding the right line instantly every time. Sync all your sportsbook, download the app, boys and girls. It's just better. 46.5 is the number for this one. You get -108 on DK, you get -109, but who's splitting hairs at Sugar House? And then on the money line, the Cincinnati Bengals, if you like them, and I do.
I'm doing it again. I knew it. Yeah.
At plus 170.
Yeah.
Let's go, Boggs. I'm ready.
I'm taking the Bengals. I'm taking the Bengals, and
are you taking the Bengals outright, or are you taking the points?
Well,
sissy.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a sissy. I am. So I'm going to take them with the points. The reason I'll take them with the points this week, I wasn't brave enough to take the Broncos last week without the points.
So, or crazy enough. And honestly,
that was a great call, man. It was a great call.
But the reasoning was what? Remember, the Bills can't get out of their own way. And what happened?
That was exactly right. I mean,
those could not get out of their own way. And that's where it came from. It's like you could take all the stats and they're all important and they all help and they're all informative. But sometimes it's that eye test of watching teams and how they play. And now they don't even have they fired Ken Dorsey after. Like that was right. It has been quite a disastrous fall. And they're 5-5. Like the Steelers have a better record, but would you say the Bills are a better team than the Steelers? I think you would.
I would say let's go by record is what I would say. Yeah.
I like your
but yeah, look, the roster is definitely better. But yeah, I mean, they fired Ken Dorsey. I would thought that was premature, but what do I know about prematurely firing OCs? I would have no idea because the Steelers take too long. Yeah. So look. The reason I don't want the money line here is not because I don't think the Bengals can and will win. I think they can. Will they? I don't know. I think it's going to be a tight game that could come down to a field goal. In that scenario, I'm taking Tucker over the world. So, so I'll take the points because the money line is just not enough. I want I'm taking the favorite on the money or the dog on the money line. Give me at least doubling my money, and it's not there. It's plus 175, plus 170, wherever it is. So. I'm going to take the points with Cincinnati, and I'm with you, Joe. I just think that right now the Ravens offense isn't clicking on all cylinders. I mean, the Browns really broke them down in the second half last week, although they did score points. They scored points in the first half, not that much in the second half. And then since he is just playing, Joe Burrow is playing very strong. They do have a lot of injuries on the defensive side. Obviously, the biggest one being Sam Hubbard there. The Ravens have some injuries on the defensive side as well. So I'm going to go with the over here. I think that's the thing I like the most in this game. But I do like Cincinnati plus the points, and I don't hate them with straight up either. So I think it's a pretty decent bet this week.
I'm going to do the same thing I did on Monday night. I'm just going to continue to ride the wave, which is I'm going to take the money line and I'm going to take my favorite anytime touchdown. I'm going to put those two things together. So I'm going to take Jamar and I'm going to take the Bengals, and that puts me to 3-1. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, the combination of Sutton and the Broncos went to 7-1, which was and I bet them all through. So what I did, and just, to explain this to some of the people too, is like, you're kind of newer to this, or maybe you're just getting into this a little bit. So, I hedge a little bit in the sense of that I bet them all separately too. So that I bet them to win hard. And then I threw a little bit in there with the touchdown and I threw a little bit in there for the skinny parlay. And because it all worked, it was just a really good night. Right. So, you do the heavier units on the win, and then you move on from there. So again, this one's going to be as exciting because, as Bogman pointed out, it's plus 170. It's not plus, was it 370?
You're tripling up for the Broncos on Monday. Yeah.
325. I couldn't remember what it was. Oh, I know it was beautiful. And I guess here's my reasoning for this one too. It's like, I feel like we're in a spot here where the Bengals, all anybody want to talk about is the Bengals beating the 49ers. And then they had a little bit of a letdown game, because I think you didn't take the Houston Texans seriously. And the Houston Texans are now a team to take seriously. They are well coached. CJ Stroud is a very good quarterback. They have a lot of speed on that team when you have guys like Tank Dell running around. So they were able to pull the rabbit out of their hat, and they just didn't get in that zone. And I think because they got caught looking ahead to this game.
By the way,
game is a playoff game, Boggs. They know it. And Joe Burrow shows up in these big moments. And I haven't seen Lamar show up in a lot of them.
I don't know if I buy look aheads in the NFL because
it's all the time, every year that happens. These guys look ahead.
It's way more in college though.
It happens in the pros too when they have these big in-division games, especially with a short week. They know they're thinking about the Ravens.
I mean, you overlook an opponent. I don't know if you're looking to next week. Houston lost to Carolina, so it happens all the time. I just don't know how much they're looking for the game the following week. And Houston is good, by the way, this year. Houston is very good. There is a stat, and I don't have it in front of me. I apologize for not having it right in front of me. I should have had it up for the show, but the Ravens are like the first team to not go undefeated with, I think they've only been trailing in games like as they lose. That it's been all walk-off field goals. So no team that has led for as many minutes as they have this deep in the season has ever lost, even lost a game or like lost more than 2 games or something.
But I think that mentally wears you too. I think mentally when you have a good team and you don't finish, and
I just don't think they're that good. It's like when the Steelers were 11-0 and everyone was calling them frauds. I don't think Baltimore's a fraud, but I don't think
Baltimore's a fraud, but Baltimore has shown you they have trouble finishing off games. And I think that's an issue. And I think when you take those two combinations of Joe Burrow coming off a down game where they got a little ahead of themselves, I think they came off a huge victory. We're now the conquering heroes. Guess what? Maybe you're not the conquering hero anymore. Okay, now we got this short week here, which is good because you don't have time to think about it. And the Baltimore Ravens don't have time to think about it, but I'm telling you this, they're thinking about over and over again how we let some of these games out of our grasp. And I feel like that's where they are. So I'm just going to continue to, again, I'll take a little bit of the stats, take a little bit of, what I'm seeing here with some of these teams. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Ravens will finish tonight. Maybe the Ravens come out and dominate at home, but I want it proven to me first. That's where I'm at. So let's get to the props here for everything here. Boggs is on a roll, man. He is crushing it. 4 out of 5 last time. I think you were 4 out of 5 the game before that too. I
think it was the Monday before the Thursday.
Well, we didn't do a show last Thursday because I was on vacation.
So
you are right. Monday 4 for 5. Last Monday 4 for 5. This Monday, our expectations are very high. Speaking of expectations being high, make sure you check out this bad boy right here, which is, of course, the NBA Bets Show live here. The best bets every Wednesday and Friday right here on the channel. Make sure you subscribe so you can check it out. Matt Modi doing some really good work here. So make sure you check this out Wednesday. Friday, Betting Pros is here for the NBA, just like everything else. And we're here for the props. So Boggs, you've set the bar very high. So I expect excellence from you at all times. So let's get to the excellence right now. What do you have for the people?
All right. Well, let's start with a Lamar Jackson interception. It is minus 115. And look, he only has 5 picks on the year, but he did have 2 last week, and it was because he was getting mauled by Myles Garrett in that game. And this is what the Bengals do. They live on pressure. And I know that Sam Hubbard is out for this game, and Trey Hendrickson took the weird hit last week. Did you see that where it was like, I can't remember who it was. It was a wide receiver, maybe Noah Brown, got pushed after the play. And, Trey Hendrickson was just like standing, after the play, getting ready to, go into the next play, and he got rolled up on. It was very weird, but I think he's going to be up for this game. But Sam Hubbard is down. But they have Cam Sample's a vet. Miles Murphy is a good rookie here. So they're going to put pressure on Lamar, and I think he ducks one. And it's a Thursday night game. Weird stuff happens. He's also been getting a lot of balls batted this year, which is strange to see. I don't have like a number in front of me, but just watching the Ravens a lot when the Steelers are not on. I also have the AFC North on just so I can watch the competition a little bit there. So I've seen a lot of balls batted for him as well. So weird pick or just a straight pick. I think he throws one tonight. So let's go with that to start.
All right. So we'll go with that to start. So Lamar in the over in the half interceptions at minus 115. Let's talk about Gus Edwards, 47.5 rushing yards. This is a plus number, plus 105. And you like the over. I want to talk about this, and a lot of people have been talking about Keaton Mitchell too, and we'll get to him in a moment. I know you got a prop on him. So how do you see this Ravens backfield working out with those two tonight in terms of how you want to wager them?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that you can take anything with Mitchell, right? Anything that you feel comfortable with Mitchell. Now, look, the guy has only caught 3 passes, right? And I'm taking the over on his receiving yards. We'll talk about that in a minute here. And I know they want to get Mitchell the ball, but it's Gus's backfield here. So I think that Gus is he's going to go, and he's going to have, he had 62 yards on 10 attempts in their first matchup. And, with the way that Zay Flowers has kind of been disappointing. Mark Andrews, I don't know if Mark Andrews is fully healthy. I don't know if Mark Andrews is ever fully healthy, but
Yeah.
I just think
I
Gus
don't feel like they're
is the
using
first guy.
Zay. Like Zay's had some drops too, so I don't want to like. It's not all
It's been a little bit of
Lamar's
everything.
fault
It's been
there.
a very rookie season
It's
for
been a very
Zay.
rookie season. Like that's a guy that I still have a lot of faith in
Can
getting
you
it. I
believe he
think he's a
has no
hardworking
100
kid.
yard games? Zay.
I can because I feel like they don't take advantage enough of letting him go out there and contest the ball because he's a smaller wide receiver, but he's proven in college he could do that. You watch him at BC do that kind of stuff. Like he's a tough guy. He's going to fight for the ball. I just think I'd like to see them be a little bit more aggressive sometimes when it comes to that play calling. So although it's a new OC this year, I feel like it's a lot of the same stuff where sometimes I just feel like they're a little bit more conservative than they should be. But to
And
the
if
other
they
side
try
of the
to force a
coin,
little bit too, let's
well,
get
you
that
lose
pick from Lamar.
confidence from the quarterback and from the OC when you have a couple drops. But you're right about Andrews too. That's another tricky situation. So let's get back to the backfield here of the Ravens.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, speaking of the backfield, I'm going to take Gus Edwards to go over 47.5. He had over 60 in their last matchup. They're down a couple offensive linemen or defensive linemen, excuse me. Sam Hubbard, big run stopper, way more of a run stopper than he is putting pressure on QBs. So I just think Gus Edwards is going to be able to run. And if Joe Burrow is hot and throwing well to start, you want to keep him on the sideline. You run the football with Lamar and with Mitchell and with Edwards and Hill. Everybody's going to have a piece of the pie tonight. So that's why this is a plus number, is because they've talked about wanting Mitchell to get the ball more. So I like the juice on it. I think the total is low enough that Gus Edwards could sail past this. So let's get on the Gus bus. Let's go.
All right. So let's go to Keaton Mitchell. Let's jump to him for a second
Okay.
because he's got 8.5 receiving yards. It's a small number. The juice is pretty good. It's minus 125, but you're in the overside of that regardless. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, what I'm doing with Mitchell here is I want to bet Mitchell tonight because the Ravens talked about getting him the ball more. Let's just take the lowest number. Then the lowest number is the 8.5 receiving.
Do you think do you think he just completely usurps Justice Hill? Like, do you think that just happened already? I feel like it's close. I feel like it's real close.
I think he needs to get the ball more than anybody. I think they need burst.
That's interesting.
I think he needs to carry the ball more than anybody else, but Gus is the hammer and he's the lightning here. So I'll go with him to get over pretty much anything tonight that they list him for, because he can do it in one chunk. That's who he is. He is a speed back. He's very much like, the poor man's Chris Johnson, or however you want to call him. They both went to ECU. That's why he's the first guy that pops in my brain there. But yeah, and purple, a lot of purple. So yeah, man, I think that I think Mitchell can burn pretty much every total that he has up tonight if they use him properly. Now, if they say we want to get him more involved and he's not in there until the 2-minute warning of the first half, or they give him 6 touches like they did last week, which I firmly feel was about him coming in banged up, and I didn't think he was going to play last week, and he ended up having the 39-yard touchdown run and then a 32-yard catch as well. And you're like, what the hell are you doing? Get this guy the ball more. What are you doing? But he was on a pitch count, obviously. So it's a quick turnaround, a Thursday game, but 10 touches. You want to give him the ball at least 10 times.
Well, because of the explosiveness, I think that 8.5, you take the small
it.
number.
You're not getting it from Zay.
The juice isn't great, but
from Mitchell.
You just got to bet it a little harder there. That's all. Jay Miz likes the sound of this too. I see in the chat too. Mitchell should be the number 1 by the end of the night. There you go. Oh, Jay Miz is ladder betting Mitchell up to 80. So there you have it there.
I mean, he could get that in 3 rushes. I mean,
well, let's investigate that for a second here. Alternative rushing yards and what some of these might be here for these guys, because that's, it's relatively new. So, you just don't know with a guy like this. At 40 yards, it's minus 102 on FanDuel. At 50, it's plus 162. Okay. Like that I think is pretty good. I think it's hard for him to get into the 60, 70, 80 range unless he really.
I think what makes the touches. He may have 100 yards if he gets 10 carries.
He could. It's not impossible because Lamar also runs the football.
Right.
I think it's dicier, and because you still have Gus Edwards, it's a little tougher. Now I'm the Achane guy. Like I'm, like that all worked, and we crushed that earlier this year, and we made.
I have more shares of Achane than any other player.
Dude, well, you and I saw the same thing in him. It's like, hey, so the Dolphins drafted a really fast guy,
Jamal Charles.
Yeah, wow, that's a good interesting comp there. But look, I understand the love of this, and yes, you could have this one big play and get a lot of it. Up to 80, you're getting plus 490 on it. I don't know if I'd want to go that far with it. If you want to go 50, 60, that's cool. Like if you want to take the 40, 50, 60 and lock that in because it's minus 102, then plus 162, then plus 235, that's a really good return. I think you're getting a little greedy past there because of the way the Ravens defense works. That's, and so Maddie wants to know what is alternative yards and passing. So basically, Maddie, what that is, as we educate the people here, what we're doing is we're talking about, so lines are set here. This is the over under for the guy. And usually those are going to be somewhere in that minus 100 to, somewhere around 115 range. Then you have alternate. So if you want to push it a little further and take a little bit more risk, you'll get more plus money side. So you can if you're wagering $100, you win $162 if it's plus 162. Whereas if you're, it's minus 110, you have to wager 110 to win 100. So it's a whole situation like that. That's what you're trying to do here. So
you're improving the juice.
You're improving the juice when you're taking on more risk for a bigger performance. Now you could bet them all separately and ladder them up, which is something Welsh and I do on rare occasions in baseball. We pick and choose, and same thing in the NFL. We picked and choose in this as well. We had one that worked great, one that was miserable, but this one, I don't know if we're there. Let's talk about Jamar Chase, because you got one 24.5 longest reception, minus 115. There's another guy that can get it all in one play.
Yeah, I mean, look, and that's what I'm banking on here. And he's got it in 4 of the last 5 weeks. Him and Burrow are hot right now. I feel like he's over this back thing now. And I think Humphrey's down or banged up. So, yeah, Jamar Chase getting this is not going to surprise me when he does. And it's Thursday. You have weird busted coverages and wrong reads and all kinds of weirdness. So, it's always, I think the longest catch is always dicey. I've missed it 2 or 3 times on Gabe Davis this year. So I've pretty much given up on Gabe Davis. I don't mind the total yards. I believe it was, what is it now, Joe, for receiving for Burrow? Is it 88.5? I think it was like around 80 or 90.
Wait, passing for Burrow you want, or
receiving for Chase.
Receiving for Chase, because receiving for Burrow, I don't think there's a line on that.
83
and a half is
83 and a half.
Chase.
I don't that either. It's harder.
I don't either.
Those big numbers are tougher, but if you are ever going to bet the big numbers, you bet it on the best players, Tyreek Hill.
Right. Well, this is an interesting one though, because the catch, the run after catch, the big playability of Chase, like this is, I think, a much better way to approach Chase tonight, who I do think that's my favorite pick for the touchdowns. Before we get to the touchdowns, explaining to Maddie too, who's got a lot of good questions, and I know a lot of people are still new to betting. Like betting is something like a lot, like so.
Well, it's just become legal in a lot of states,
right? So, and some people just never really did it, and a lot of people like football, like baseball, like the different sports, and they want to get a little bit more. So he was asking me about parlays and things like that, and I always say here, parlays are the fruits of the devil. Now you can do them very carefully and very calculatedly, but they're basically what you're doing is every time you add another piece to a parlay, you're adding more variance and you're lessening the chance of you winning. And that's why they build hotels in Las Vegas with room service and all the amenities and spas and things like that, because we all get very greedy. We say, oh, I get $5 and I get all 6 of these things right, I'm going to win $1,000 tonight. Chances are you're just going to give up your $5.
Yeah. Parlays are lottery tickets.
Right. You're better off taking your $20 and betting it on something you really feel strongly about and winning another $20. so that's the path to victory. It's a slow burn sometimes.
Whatever a unit is to you, right? For some people, it's $5. For some people, it's $100. So whatever unit is to you, you bet like a quarter unit on a parlay that you feel pretty good about. That is my general, what I would do on a big, more than 2-part parlay, 3 or more parlay, because
the skinny parlay of the double, I like if you like just like the Denver game, right? Cortland Sutton touchdown, Denver to win the game. It's a huge payout, small investment, made a lot of sense. Everything in there made a lot of sense, and it worked.
2 things. You need 2 things.
2 things.
Right.
And if you're going to do something with the game, I would argue take the side of the team you think is going to win in something else positive. Because then you're asking a lot of things to happen. So if you don't want to run to the Ravens side of this game if you love the Bengals tonight.
But if you think there are at least 3 touchdowns in this game, Joe, right? And I have no idea what the odds are here. I bet
let's do the defense, and then we'll talk about some of the.
Well, what I was gonna say here is like, you think there's at least 3 touchdowns in this game. If you're trying to pick every guy that you get 5 guesses of the 3 people that are going to score the touchdowns. You're not going to get them. It's always somebody weird. It's a
always
weird,
like Trenton Irwin is at plus 370 tonight.
yes.
And
he
and
scored
that's
in the first quarter last week. So,
he did.
and
Let's go to the,
Higgins-
I know we're running long here. Let's go to the
Okay.
defensive prop here. Sack tonight. You got anybody for sacks, tackles?
Give me Matabikwe. And look, Matabikwe was drafted to be a run stuffer, not a pass rusher so much. And he has sacks in 5 straight games. Every time I'm ranking him in IDP, Joe, I'm like, he's not going to get one this week. Come on. 3 weeks in a row, he's not going to get one this week. And he keeps doing it. You don't usually depend on a defensive tackle to get sacks, but also the interior of this line for the Bengals is horrid. It is so bad. Just looking at pass rushing grade, right? I typed in offensive linemen that have had at least 100 pass blocking snaps. Okay, there's 200 even of them. Cordell Volson ranks 194. He's the lowest of the Bengals offensive linemen. The highest is Jonah Williams at 88, Orlando Brown at 98, Ted Karras at 104, and then Alex Kappa comes in at 139. They're all 2 of them are above average, and that is just slightly. And those are the tackles. The interior guys suck and give up pressure all the time. That's why you see Burrow moving to his left to his right so much on every play. And, he's going to stay in that pocket too long, and Matabikwe is going to get him one time. And this is for a quarter sack. It's plus money. So all he's got to do is be involved in one. So I think we get him. I think we get him home tonight because the Bengals O-line blows.
All right. Touchdown props tonight. We got Mixon at minus 105, Edwards at plus 105, Chase at plus 110, which is my favorite, which is not great. It's not a great number, but I think it's just easy money tonight. The juice is bad, but again, if you put it with the Bengals on the money line,
what's Andrews?
Andrews is only plus 160, and Lamar's plus 165.
Mitchell.
So, they're looking overs here on this one. Mitchell's plus 210, a little better. Zay Flowers plus 230. Don't love that. Tyler Boyd at plus 260 is intriguing. Odell's got 2 touchdowns in a row, but I mean, it's like, talk about threading a needle. And then you got Irwin at 370. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's like, hey, 1 catch for a touchdown. Like, that's what he's been doing. That's why I'm just again, I think this is one where you bet more aggressively.
What did you say Lamar is? I'm sorry. You went through.
Lamar is a plus 165. So I think this is one where, again, you unfortunately the juice isn't great, so you got to be a little bit more aggressive with the money, and you just got to take the more sure thing here, which I think is Chase at the end of the day. But you don't like any of them. I can tell.
Bet the sack instead. That's what I would do. If you can get Matt,
it's not bad.
Because that's plus money, and it's a quarter. You don't even have to get the full sack.
But it's not a huge plus. It's plus 114. It's not huge.
Yes,
it's not like plus
sacks in 5 games.
Look, I think it's a good one. I agree with you. So Matabikwe plus 114 over. I'm sorry,
0.25.
0.25. That's what the number is. Keaton Mitchell, 8.5 receiving yards over minus 125. Jamar Chase over 24.5 longest reception at minus 115. Gus Edwards over 47.5 rushing yards at plus 105. And Lamar over 0.5 interceptions at minus 115. As you can tell by Bogman's picks here this Thursday night, life is too short for the under. He's on Cincinnati at plus 3.5. It's too short for the under. Overs for everything. Over on the game is Bogman 2 at 46.5. I'm over on the game at 46.5 as well, and I'm also on the Bengals money line. And I wore the shirt today.
I don't like
all the Joes banding together. That's what we do. I hope everybody had a good time tonight. Hope everybody enjoys the game. It's going to be a good one. So we will be back on Monday. Don't forget, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the bell till it goes ding so you don't forget, because Monday Night Football next week too. Lots of fun things. We're going to have special for Thanksgiving next week too on the Betting Pro Show. Erickson and I are going to break down the Thanksgiving and Black Friday game. You like that? You like the Black Friday game? I hate that it's the Jets, but man, somebody had a real rager for Aaron Rodgers in primetime this year, and it did not work out. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Scott Bogman, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy